The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, guys, welcome back. I'm night school tonight. Tonight we have something special for you guys. I think you guys will like a sneak peek into SolidCAM 2018, but it's actually not coming from myself. It's going to be coming from Sydney Eisner over in Israel. Sid, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
And yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, Sydney is over in Israel, and it is, what, 3 o'clock in the morning?
That's just exactly correct.
So a little early for him here, so if he seems a little tired or something like that, we can give him a little bit of slack there. We'd also have Steve Welsh helping out with any questions or concerns that come up along the way for you guys. So Steve, are you with us too?
I am. I'll throw out a quick thank you for everybody's attendance today. And I mentioned to Sydney, I'm probably as excited as anybody to see really what's new in SolidCAM 2018. Kevin, I'm going to throw out one other thing too. We value the user community's input. So if you have something that you think could enhance the software, please, please, please let us know. I might have mentioned this last week or the week before. We can't promise it'll go in, but if you're seeing something that you think would help your business, we'd love to hear about it, and you're probably not the only one. So definitely, we're going to show you where we're at with 2018, but if you have ideas that would improve the product, we definitely want to hear about it. So
yeah, absolutely. And kind of like I like to tell everybody too, you know, it's not, corporate driven CAM software. This is fully customer driven software based off of ideas that you guys have given us. So we definitely love your feedback on that. So one thing, just kind of some housekeeping stuff going on here, because I see we have a ton of new people in here. So right now we are using GoToWebinar. Everybody is in mute just to eliminate any background noise. If you guys do have a question, feel free, and I took a little screenshot of here what it looks like. If you hit that little questions arrow right here, and that will expand out, you guys can type in there and ask any questions that you guys are curious about, and we will answer them on the fly for you guys. Completely laid back training class for you guys, and like I told you guys, for the guys that have sat through the night classes before, these are classes that are solely dedicated for you guys as a learning. So please feel free to ask those questions and send those over to us. And, like I said before, I'll bring this over to here. Send us your ideas for the night class, for if there's a topic that you guys would like to see in here or something you guys would like to touch up on. Send those over to me via email, and we'll get those added in there for the class lineup for you guys. So I did put my email address in there in the GoToMeeting chat. For those of you guys that are watching it on YouTube right now, my email address will be in the description of the video for you guys. So, and that kind of takes it over to my next area. Is all the night classes are recorded for you guys. So if you guys go over to YouTube and type in SolidCAM University, you should see my ugly mug pop up here. Now, Sydney, on the other hand, he has the SolidCAM Professor channel, which is right here. And as you can tell, SolidCAM doesn't hire us for our good looks. So don't base it off of that. Don't be laughing there, Steve. You're in that same club. You know?
Hey, man, careful.
So definitely feel free to come here and check it out. And like I've said before, our main goal for this channel is to beat Sydney. So we want to beat him in subscribers. So make sure you come over to the University channel and hit the subscribe button. No, I'm just kidding. But like I said, in the channel here, between the SolidCAM University and the SolidCAM Professor, there is tons of knowledge in here, hundreds of videos in here. And for those of you guys that are just a little bit new to the YouTube environment, if you guys come over to the SolidCAM University channel here and you do a search right here, you can search anything inside here and it will pull it up for you guys. So don't do the search up on top. Come down here and do the search, and everything that you guys can think of inside the software is all right here for you guys. We got some live cuts, some short little 5-minute, 10-minute long videos that Mark Pimentel does a fantastic job doing, which is our training manager. And then we also have the night class videos in here for you guys as well. So definitely come here, check it out. Great place to learn and whatnot for you guys. So I think with that being said, I will let's switch over to Sydney and let's check out what we all came here for.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and or good evening, everyone. Where you are. What we are going to do today is we're going to do a sneak peek of what's in 2008 and 2018, and a lot of these, as is mentioned before by Steve, is stuff that actually came from requests from customers. Also, some of our own staff also a lot of times suggest these changes. And the reason why we listen to them, especially to our own staff as well, is because we have a lot of people on our staff that are actual machinists. So they also know the pain of what it is sometimes when you have to program parts and what they may be looking for. So listening to people who have actual machine practices is actually very helpful when you're actually putting in new enhancements within the program. So keep those ideas coming, and whenever we can, we will definitely try to put these new options in as we go along. Okay. I'd like to be, can you make me presenter, please?
Yep, you are, Sid.
Okay, and I will show my screen. Hold on a second. I am not presenter.
You should be, Sid.
For some reason.
Let me try it again.
I'll do. I got it. I got it. Okay. There we go. You should see my screen now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And
you'll notice what you see right now on my screen is not SolidWorks or SolidCAM. It's actually my backdrop. Now, it's not because I want to show you my photography, because the actual first changes start from when you start SolidWorks itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up SolidWorks, and you'll note the following. In a moment, we're loading all different aspects, what's actually inside of SolidWorks, and it gets to a point which says loading add-ins for SolidCAM 2018. When that happens, what actually happens, we're actually loading and opening SolidCAM now in the background. So when this screen comes up, you can actually, when you go into Tools and SolidCAM Open, you're immediately opening up your part. So you don't have that waste of time again for when you open up the part at the very beginning. Now, you'll also notice something I just did. I went to Tools, SolidCAM, New, Open, everything you probably guys did almost all the time. And this is also very bothersome sometimes. I always find there's like too much clicking going on over there. What we've done now is, you can see on my right-hand side of my screen, is we have what we call the SolidCAM task pane. This is part of the SolidWorks has a task pane over here, and we've added one for SolidCAM as well. So when you open up the program, all you have to do is go to New, Open, Browse. Some of the main features we have here, we also have here also the library as well, 2 libraries. Help was put in over here as well. And something very important, CAM settings is readily available to you right when you open up the program over here as well. Another nice little feature we add at the end of this is we also have recent CAM parts. So it's right there in front of you, and you don't have to go start searching for it. Okay. Now, let me go into, now, people might ask, by the way, the question is, okay, you know what? I'm a customer, and I'm running on a network license. And let's say I have 10 seats of SolidCAM, SolidWorks, but I only have 3 seats of SolidCAM. Okay, so what's going to happen? And all those 10 stations can use SolidCAM, but only 3 of them will be available at any time. So what happens if SolidWorks opens up and I'm running SolidCAM already? That's taking away one of the licenses. Well, for that, if that's your particular case, in our CAM settings, you can actually go to, we have a setting in miscellaneous that says start SolidCAM on SolidCAM launch. So if you're working on a network license, you'd want to turn that off. This way it would not start SolidCAM as you're going on, so you don't take away a seat when it's not being used, if you're using a network license. Okay.
Sid, if I could throw out real quick, we do have some customers in here that are InventorCAM customers.
Yes.
Are we kind of looking at the same interface with InventorCAM also?
We will have something similar. The task pane they don't have, but we're working on something similar to that. Okay. Also later on, when I get into the feature, which I'm just going to quick talk about, is also the drag and drop. We're also going to have something similar to what we have here in over there also, but you'll see it as we go along.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now that I mentioned that, I'd like to actually open up a SolidWorks part. Okay. So I'll go to File and I'll open up a part, and I'll open up this part over here. This is opening up a SolidWorks part. Okay. What you'll note is as follows. When you open up a SolidWorks part, you already have a SolidCAM tab available to you. Obviously, at this point, since there's no project hasn't started yet, it's empty. But it's here together with your SolidWorks tabs over here, and it's readily available. Now, there are people I know that they don't like working with a task pane, and they keep it either minimized, so they'll minimize it. Or they'll even, some people don't even like seeing it. What we have also here also in our SolidCAM tab is the ability to go in here and start a new CAM part, open CAM part, and browse. And if the part is already open, we also have an option of save as and close. And we always have the SolidCAM settings over here as well. So these are readily available to everybody at any point, because we have the tab here already present when you have a part open. Now, I'd like to show you another little trick that we've added in here. Not everyone may want to use this, but I'm going to close the part for a moment, and I'm going to go back into my CAM settings. Now, if I go into my CAM part, my CAM settings, we've added a feature here called Create New CAM Project when opening a CAD part. If I were to click that, then I have this also clicked Auto Select Project Location, and in my automatic CAM part definition, I'll have all of these clicked as well. Look what happens the moment I open up a SolidWorks part. I'll open up the part, and what's actually happening right now, in just a few seconds, I'll be ready to work. We have a coordinate system, stock, target, everything is already done, and I'm ready to start working. Okay. And the home position is created exactly the way you have it defined inside your CAM settings as well, as to where it goes. Okay. Now, I would like to mention, I'd like to also apologize to everybody beforehand. I am working right now, like I said, this is a development version. And as we all know, that sometimes in development versions, not everything is perfect, and they may have some crashes in the middle that I know about. So bear with me if that does happen. Okay, let me go now into my next feature. One of the pains that we always have when creating stock, okay, is that if you want to create a box around the part, what you would normally do it should go into your stock creation. And I'll open that up. You have your defined by box, and you have relative to model. You click on the box, you see a part, and you say, okay, that's my part, and I want to add on this amount of material. By the way, you see the values over here. I'm working in metric. Sorry about that, guys. That's why it's not 2 inches, it's 2 millimeters. But I want to add this amount of excess material on each side, which is nice and dandy. But at this point, you still don't know what your actual stock size is. So what you normally do is then you go ahead and maybe add box to CAD model, start measuring each one of these lines, and say, okay, that's the stock I need. But then what happens? You call up your manufacturer, the guy who actually gives you this, where you actually order your steel from, or aluminum, and you said, okay, this is the stock I have. What stock do you want? In other words, they won't have exactly what you want unless they cut it up for you exactly. They may have rolled out bars of stock, and they say, okay, these are my standard sizes, and what size do you want me to cut it from? And then you have to go back and redefine your stock exactly according to the way he has it. So what we've done here is we've added another option. And this other option is called stock size. Okay? With stock size, when I click on the parts, if I go further down over here, you'll note that we have a box size instead. Okay? In X, Y, and Z. It can be either metric or inch. And here you see exactly what your minimum stock and exactly what your part size is at this moment. Okay, so now you pull up now you decide, and you know what kind of steel, what kind of material you're going to get, and you say, you know what, on the X side, that's something I can cut to length. So I'm going to cut it to, say 170 millimeters. Okay, no problem. Now in the Y, okay, I'm going to go into inch. I know my standard that I have is inch, and I see I need 4.9, and I say, you know what, my manufacturer, the guy who gives me steel all the time, he has 5 inches stock. No problem. I put that. That's what I'm going to use. In Z, let's change it to inch as well. I need 1.25, 1.25 inch stock. Okay, so this is the exact stock. Now I have it. Now you'll note that when I'm looking at it, it's showing it to you exactly equal on all sides. But wait a minute. When I'm looking at my Z, I'm saying, you know what? I don't want my Z to be only maybe 1 millimeter above the top. So let's go a little further down, and you can see we have offset from target. Right now, as default, it's set at equal X, Y, and Z. So what I want to do is I want to say, okay, everything is good for X and Y, but for my Z, I only want my Z plus to be 1 millimeter. And what it does is it takes the entire box, moves it down, and you know your exact stock size, and this is already ready for you exactly the way you're going to get it from your material supplier. Okay. So that's as far as the stock size goes. Now let's go to our next thing, and this part is really, really, really cool. I'm sure a lot of you work with templates, and the way you would use templates in the past is maybe you go into, let's say, a pocket operation and load your template from your list of templates over here, and then you say click on that and say okay, and it brings in with the tool, and all you have to do is add your geometry, do your levels, and then do save and calculate. Well, I'm going to go out of here. What we've added, and you can see this now on my right-hand side, inside my task pane of SolidWorks, we've added something called drag and drop templates. So say I want to have a face operation on the top of this part. You see I have a face mill template over here. In fact, I have two of them. I'm going to use the one that says face mill 50 millimeter, which is about 2 inches in diameter. And I'm going to use the spiral cut. That's the technology I decided to use over there. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to drag it to the part, to this face of the part, to the top face of the part. Okay, even though it's not the top. And you'll note I already have an operation created with the toolpath. Okay, now the rule is that when I drag it to a surface, it'll use the home position that is perpendicular to that surface. Now, you may ask, I have only one coordinate system here. I want to take a face mill and drag it and put it onto this face as well. Well, let's see what happens if I do that. I'm going to take this face mill here and drag it to this face over here. What's going to happen now, it's actually going to build a new home position automatically and put that face mill operation on that side. Okay. Now, this is really powerful. I showed this with face mill. Now, face mill, when I touch a face over here, it doesn't make a difference if I touch this face or this face, it'll do it at the top of the part. That's what the face mill is set for. Again, every single one of these operations I've created, you can always go back into them and edit them any way you want. Now let's show this with a pocket operation. Okay? Now you see I can sort according to technology as well. I'm going to take a pocket operation, say this one over here. I'm going to drag it to this surface. It's building a template operation, and you can see my toolpath is ready. Now, I want to drag...
if I can interrupt here, as you guys can see, it automatically, for that pocket, it automatically recognized that the open faces, open contours, closed walls, semi-open pockets, all that stuff, all automatically for you guys too. So, really nice feature.
Right, exactly. By the way, the recognition of those faces is already there as far as when creating a geometry in 2017. Yep. Okay. Now, I want to do the face operation, the pocket operation to this surface as well, to these surfaces. Now, you'll note that if I drag and drop it to a surface, it'll create the operation. So I don't want to have a separate operation for every single one of those. So what I can do is as follows. I'll start dragging it, but I'm going to my keyboard. I'm going to hold my control button. And then I'm just going to let go over here, click on this one. As long as I'm holding my control button, nothing will happen. Now I'm going to let go of my control button, and it's going to create one operation with all those geometries, with all those chains already inside that one operation. Now, this works well, not only here, but it works well as also for iMachining. I can take an iMachining operation, drag it to, say, this surface, and it'll build a template with your iMachining. iMachining takes a touch longer to calculate, but you see you have my iMachining toolpath there as well. This will work also very nicely. Let me just delete everything I've done over here. Delete. It'll also work very nicely if I were to use pocket recognition. Let's use pocket recognition, and I'll hit. Doesn't make a difference now which one of these faces I hit because it can recognize the entire part. It'll build template operation for this part using the pocket recognition option. Obviously now it's recognizing all the faces. And now every single one of these pockets has a toolpath on it. Okay. Now, we have this also for HSS and HSM. Now, with HSS, it's a little tricky. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to load a different part. I'm going to load this part over here. And let's say I want to do an HSS operation on this surface. Now we know that HSS, the geometry does not need a specific home position. So the question is, if I drag and drop something onto this surface, what home position am I going to use? Okay. Another question would be, with HSS, touching a surface is not enough in many cases. Touching a surface, I also may need a certain boundary. So for those particular cases, this is what we've done. I have here right now two different HSS drag and drop options, I believe. Here we go. Here we go. One with linear and one with a parallel curve. Let's first take linear. I'm going to drag it to this surface here. What's going to happen right now is going to pop up a question for me to choose which home position I want. So I can go in here and choose any home position I want. I'll click on OK. And then it'll create the operation. Because linear does not need any kind of boundaries, it just needs the face. So there's my toolpath using the HSS. Now, let me delete that one. What happens if I use one that uses parallel to curve? I'll do the same thing, drag it on that surface. We'll have this option over here again, but then it'll create the operation, but it'll open up the operation, and all I have to do now, just put in the curve that I may want. Okay? For example, if I want it to be parallel to this curve, I'll just add that curve in, accept it, and then calculate it exactly with all the information that I already have inside the template. And we have our toolpaths already created as shown over here. Okay. Now, this works on drag and drop templates, but it also works on process templates. Let me open up a different part. Let's say take a part like, here we go, this one over here. Now, this is a part, you can see that has all different types of pockets and stuff like that. And what I'd like to do in this particular case is use a process template. Now, when I click on a process template, you can see exactly what's inside of them. Here I have two different pocket operations. We have iMachining multi-tool. We have HSR, HSM, and we have face and pockets. Okay? I'm going to use face and pocket recognition for this particular part. I'm going to take it, drag it onto this face over here. It doesn't make a difference, again, like I said, which face, because it's the face mill and the pocket recognition will only use, it'll use that entire part, and is building the template operation.
While it's building that template, Sid, I'm going to jump in real quick. And,
go ahead.
Guys, there is other softwares out there that do something, I guess, somewhat close on this. I'm not going to say the exact software name, but you have to go through and build up this huge database table, getting everything inputted in there with tools and all that stuff. Basically, for those guys maybe a little fresh on this, is that, what Sidney did is he created a template. And by creating a template, all he did is created an operation and saved that operation out as a template. Where other companies, you have to build this huge, large matrix in an Excel file to tell it to do a pocket with an end mill, and if it meets this parameters and all that stuff. So this is very easy to use here. And, we're not, we're not hitting the easy button here and saying, program my entire part. We're using a powerful software and making it easier for you guys to use the software.
Exactly. Basically, it's using the technology that you use because you're the one that created this template.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to create templates also in a moment. So I want to show you what happens when you create a template that you see it here automatically as well. Okay, now I've used this, as you see, on this part. Let me take a different part, okay? Okay, let me close this part. Oops, sorry, I closed SolidWorks accidentally, my mistake. So I'll reopen SolidWorks. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, don't expect me to be. Okay.
Sydney's just working on his 4th cup of coffee already for the day.
Okay. So I'm going to go to my task pane. I love the task pane. I don't know what, ever since I've been working with the task pane, I don't know how I've been working without it. Okay, so let's go to open. And I'm going to use this part over here. Now, this is a nice little 3D model over here. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to use one of my process templates to create HSM roughing over here for this part over here. So I have some of these objects over here, and you'll see I have actually 2 different operations inside my template. All I have to do is drag it to any one of these surfaces. Since no home can be detected, I'll just click on the home I want. And there we go. We have our operations being calculated. And in just a couple of moments, we have our operations already done. Okay. And again, like I said, any one of these operations is just a regular operation. And all you have to do is go inside. If you want to make any changes, just go inside and change it, just like any other operation that you may have in the past as well. Okay, now, just a little bit more on the drag and drop. These drag and drops over here, we also have the manage template added at the bottom. So if you click on that, you can go ahead here and manage all your templates. In addition, if I were to right click on the drag and drop, I can go show and edit. So I can open up any one of these templates and make edits, changes to them the way I see fit. I can do that or double click on them and it'll open that as well. So it makes going into and editing templates also a lot easier. Okay, let me go now to my next little step over here that I'd like to show you. Let me see. Okay, this is going to be fun. I'm going to open up another part. We'll go to SolidCAM open. Like I said, we will have these every now and then. This is a
great joys of beta.
Right. No, again, this is a dev version, so this happens.
Yeah, and that's why we go through as much testing as possible for you guys, right, so you guys don't run across any of these issues at all.
Right. Okay, again, I'll load the parts. Okay, here we go. We'll go to open. And I'm going to drag out this little part over here. Now, what you're seeing here is a part that it has drill operations that I want to create on this part itself, okay? And I'm not even going to use a drag and drop template, so I'm going to close the task pane now, so it'll be a lot easier for you to see. You can see I have these holes over here that I want to drill out. And you can also see that I have clamps over the part, different fixtures over the part itself. And I've already created an operation over here. And I'll just run the simulation of this particular operation, solid verify. Let me do that a lot quicker. You'll see that that's the material I have left over, okay? And you can see also there's material left underneath the clamps itself. Now, there are holes over there underneath the clamps. And you'll also note that the holes are all the way down at the bottom over here. So I'm going to start now a drilling operation. Okay, I'll create my geometry. Let's do this in the top view, it's a lot easier. and I'm going to create my geometry using these surfaces over here. Okay, I have all those holes that I want to use. Okay, and I'll accept that. I'm going to use a particular drill that I already have ready for me, 6.6 millimeter. That's the size of the hole itself. And what I'm going to do now is go to my levels. In my levels, you'll note we have here something called by updated stock. So in other words, it's going to look at the part and see where your stock is at that point. And that's going to be your upper level. Okay, my depth, we'll leave it at 50 millimeters, full diameter. Now let's also go into my technology. In my technology, we have here something called Fixture Collision Protection. So it'll automatically recognize where those clamps are and make sure I don't go drilling into those clamps. And I can have a fixture clearance protection distance. How far away do I want to stay from the fixtures? And we also have added a new option here called links between the holes. In this particular case, I could go safety distance from upper level or shortest distance. Now, this is really cool. And I'll show you what happens over here. I'm going to hit calculate. And what you're going to see is something very interesting. My tool pass, my drilling will start at the level of the holes itself, but it'll go from one hole to the next directly over the material over here. Okay, now when it gets to a clamp, it'll jump over the clamp. You know, but let's take a look at it in our simulation using Solid Verify. Okay, I'll do this one step at a time, and you'll see my tool will drill down, go directly to the next hole. Now it's going to jump up above the clamp, skip those holes because it was right next to those clamps. Go over there, go over here. Now my next hole is on the other side of that wall. It's going to jump over that wall and go to the next hole. Same thing over here. There's another wall it's going to jump over. Now over here, what it's going to do is going to jump over this little wall that I have over here to get to the next hole over here. Also skipping the hole that was underneath the clamp, and thereby also creating all the holes that it was able to create. Okay, now.
Yeah, this will really help with eliminating, especially if you guys are running production and custom stuff like that, really eliminate a lot of the cycle time of retracting all the way up to that surface plane since we're using those clamps for you guys.
Right. And let's take a look at what happens if I were to take my first operation and I'm going to suppress it. In other words, my stock right now has changed. Okay? The stock has not been machined over there. You'll note that my drill operation just has to be recalculated. I'm going to just calculate it. Okay, I'll just click, actually I can just do calculate all over here. And you'll see that this time the drilling is starting to again simulate from the top. It'll jump over my clamp, but the starting of the drill will start from the top, and it'll go down to exactly where it needs to go down. And it'll complete whatever you need to do over there. Okay, now you'll note also one little thing. When I click on this, you see this arrow over here? This shows us that we have this in SolidWorks as well. It shows any associated operations. So if I have an operation that's associated to several operations, it'll show it to me. And that's a good sign for me to do the following. Let's say I'm going to unsuppress this now. And I'm inside here. And I'm making a little change over here. I can click on Save and Calculate with Related Operations. And it'll, obviously, it'll calculate that particular operation that I'm on right now. And it'll also calculate any related operation as well. Okay, let's move along now. Yes. Okay. Now let's take a look at a different part. I'm going to open up a different part. Pocket and fixture protection. Now, just like we had in drill, we have the fixture protection. We also have it now in pockets as well. But we have a couple more options in there as well. Let's take a first look at this part. You'll note I have two different setups here. And I also have in this part, if we take a look at my configurations over here, I have my default setup and I have setup 2. Two different clamps in different places. Okay? So, I'm going to take my first operation, my first setup. I'm going to take a pocket operation. Now, my geometry is going to be this surface over here, where it automatically, again, as Kevin mentioned before, it automatically recognizes the open edges. I'm going to use an end mill. Say for argument's sake, I'm going to use a 10 millimeter end mill. Let me go back to geometry for a second. Note we have what we call fixture collision protection, just like we had over there. And we also have something called cut only the rest material. Okay? I'm not going to use this time now. I'm just going to leave it there for a second without you. I really don't need it at this point. I'm going to calculate. Okay, I have my levels. All that is as usual. My levels is down to that surface over there. My technology, I like working open pocket using a profile strategy. Links, I'm going to use it as an arc, whichever way everyone likes to use it. Okay, I'm going to calculate that. And you'll note the following. It did the pocket, but it worked around the clamps. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this same operation, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it on setup 1, where I have my clamps in the other direction. And in this particular case, I'm going to add the option of cut only the rest material. So it's the exact same operation I had before, but this time I added also cut only the rest material. When I calculate that, what you'll see is that it's only machining where it needs to be machined, in those areas over there.
That's after you've already moved the toe clamps out of the way.
That's correct.
So if you go to your configuration.
Get that simulation, so you'll see this exactly a lot better. We have our first operation. Now you see our clamps are moved. And then we have our second operation, finishing off those studs that were left over there. Now, the same is true, not only here, but also in pocket recognition. But you know what? Let me just delete these operations here for a moment. And you can see, because we have the cut only rest material, these operations are now related to each other. Okay? Let me delete this now. Delete. Remember we talked about a couple minutes ago about our drag and drop templates? So what we have here is I created a pocket operation, okay, that already had inside the template itself. Let me just open it up for a second. It already has inside fixture collision protection, and it also has cut only rest material. So what I'm going to do is just going to take this and drag it onto that pocket over there. As you can see, it did that. And now I'm going to go to setup 1 and drag and drop it again to that same face. Same operation, just different setup, sees the rest material, and cuts exactly where I need it. Okay? Now, this is also true. The whole idea of pockets with fixture collection, we've also, correction, is, I'm going to delete that for now, is also true, not only in Pocket, but also for pocket recognition. If I were to say, open up, let's take a look at this pocket recognition over here. I'm going to add fixture collision protection to it. You see, I made a little edit as we're going along. Okay? If I were to take that and drag it to my part at setup 1, it'll do all the pockets and move around the clamps over here as well as these clamps over here. Go to this part now, do the exact same thing. Don't fail me now. There we go. As you can see, it worked exactly where it needed to work. So the drag and drop options is very simple. Now let me just go back also, and you see the drag and drop together with the new features of collision protection, rest material. All of that comes in extremely handy now when you have templates and using the drag and drop templates. Now let me go into a simple operation that I have here. Okay. And just for argument's sake,
one nice thing too with these drag and drop.
Go ahead.
Just going to throw in there, said the nice thing with this drag and drop for those of you guys that like to use 3D iMachining for your prismatic parts too, this works also very nicely. So drag and drop that 3D iMachining toolpath on there. Don't have to worry about those feeds and speeds for you guys on a 2.5D part. Also works out very slick.
And if you guys behave yourselves, I'll even show it to you in a moment as well. What happens by the drag and drop iMachining 3D iMachining operation onto a prismatic part. Okay, but let's go back in here for a moment. I'm going to go into here and use all these options over here. I may even, just for argument's sake, just create a geometry, levels, irrelevant for now, technology, open pocket, use profile strategy, approach from outside, whichever one I want to use, all these kind of things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a geometry. And so as you can see the name of the geometry, I'm going to create it KevCAM. Okay? The name of this particular template. Click on OK. I'm going to exit the part without saving anything. Okay, in this particular case, there is a little bug over here that I just noticed. What I will do is I will just reload the part. And what you'll see is that I have that template there. So any template I create will be available over here as well, immediately. Actually, it will be immediately. That the fact that I had to open and close, that's a different story. That I have to scream at somebody for that. Okay. Anything else? Let me see right now. Okay. Now let me just show you one last feature. Okay. I did promise I would show you iMachining. So what I will do is I will reload that little part that I had over here. This one over here. I'm going to delete these operations. Now I have a template here. iMachining, let's go to technology names. I have here called 3D iMachining. I'm going to take that and drag it to my part. And as Kevin had mentioned just before, there's my toolpath on the entire part using iMachining. Done very quickly, very simply.
Nice and easy, and don't have to worry about feeds or speeds and all that good stuff.
Right, exactly. And again, every single one of these operations, you can go into them and edit them. Let me delete this now. And I want to show you, the last thing I want to show you now for this particular session is something in iMachining itself. many times when you do operations, a lot of times, particularly in iMachining, you're going to be using more than one tool for operations. You know, we do one tool for roughing and another tool for finishing, or for doing rest type of material. What we've done in iMachining 2D and 3D as well, right now you see the technology says iRough. What we've added here is we've added something called multi-tool. If I click on multi-tool, you'll note the tool list that comes here that's empty for now. I'm not going to do anything there. I just want you to pay attention to it for a moment. Okay, I'm going to create a geometry. You know, I'm not going to use this part. I'm going to use a different part. It looks better on a different part. I'm going to browse, and I'm going to use, let's say, this part here. Yeah, this one looks nicer. Okay, let me delete this operation. Okay, iMachining 2D. I'm going to create my geometry. Click on that surface over there. You can see all my chains were added. And the tool that I will be using, well, I said I want to use multi-tool. So let's go to iRough and change that to multi-tool. What you see is you have actually a list of tools. Now go to the first one, say select. I'm going to select a tool, say a 10 millimeter end mill, with all the information that I may need over there. Now note, I have my first tool over there. I can tell it at this point if I wanted to also, besides the roughing, also do finish on walls or finish on the floors. I'm not going to do anything over there. What I'm going to do now is select another tool. This time I'm going to select a tool. Let me see if I have one here that's smaller. I don't, so I'm going to add another tool. I'll add a 6 millimeter end mill, relatively small tool. You see I have that new tool added over there. And for this one, I want to do finish as well. Okay. Now you'll note that on my tools, on this tab on the side, it shows me the different tools. What does that do? Note if I go to on the tool list over here, I go to tool, I see the information about this particular tool. If I click over here, it'll show me the information for that tool. But it gets a little more into that. If I go to my technology wizard, when I click on tool, I can see my technology wizard for that tool. For T5, it'll show me the technology wizard for that tool. So I can have technology wizard set for each tool individually. Now, if I go into my technology as well, you see this one, T5, is doing finish work. Whereas T2 is not doing finish work. It's only doing roughing. Now, when I click on Save and Calculate, it's going to obviously calculate the operations. You see 2 operations were created. Okay? Stretch this out a little over here. 2 operations were created. We have a first one and second one. If I go back and edit, it'll open up again those operations. These 2 operations are connected to each other via multi-tool. Okay? They can't be separated because this is a multi-tool operation. Okay.
This is where it comes in really handy if you guys are using a roughing tool and you want to use a separate finishing tool, but you're able to keep it all within one operation for you guys.
Right. Instead of having to create 2 separate operations, it's all there in one operation. Okay. Yep. Do we have any questions?
We do have, Brad Denton mentioned adding a tab to filter process selections and cleaner. Is that adding
a tab to where?
just adding a tab to filter out stuff, I'm guessing. And Brad, if you want to fill me in here, or fill Sid on. Let's see, operation template types. Oh, so you can, so what Brad is saying is over on your operation templates, let's say you have 500 templates in there. If you could filter it out by all the face milling operations or all the pocket operations, that kind of filter.
Okay, I got you. Understood. Okay, so what you're basically saying is adding a filter over here. We will be doing that. That has been asked already to be done. It'll be something similar to what we have over here, where I can write in here, say, for example, face. Okay, click on my filter, and I see only the face operations as well. Okay,
excellent.
So we'll be, as we go along, we will be adding a filter also to the drag and drop templates. Good question.
Okay. And I had Brad, he'll email me that question so I can send that off to you as a reminder too.
Okay.
Because I know it's early for you. Let's see. Ronnie was saying very impressive. Note when drilling, buried the flute in the stock. Is that, Ronnie, were you talking when he was doing the drilling operation with the automatic updated stock? Yes. So, Sid, do you want to open up that part that you were doing with the drilling with your fixtures?
Sure, no problem.
And I think what Ronnie is saying is when you suppress.
Basically, is that okay? Hold on a second. There we go. He's talking about. I'm going to suppress this again. And over here, you'll see a lot more easier what he's talking about. He's talking about, if I do simulate now, for that one, here we go. Simulate, do solid verify, is that if I take a look at the tool, this is the cutting length over here, but it's actually going way in.
Oh, past the flutes.
Past the flutes. Legally, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing legally wrong. However, true, as a machinist, I would not do that.
Yeah, we'd have to set it up as, instead of doing your drilling operation, if you set up your template as like a peck drilling kind of deal.
Right. You can do whatever you want. Okay. Now, by the way, the drag and drop templates do not work yet on drill operations. Okay? The reason for that is that right now there's an issue of picking up the correct depth of the template, of the hole. Also, you can have several different diameters on there, and which diameter do you want it to do? So we have to work out still the idea of filtering out before getting to geometry, and also a way of picking up the depth to the correct depth to the hole. We are working on something, but I can't say exactly what that is. But you can't do it. However, having said that, any one of the templates, if I had a drilling template over here, okay, let's take this operation for example. Okay, I'm going to save it as a template. Okay, I'm just going to save it right now as a template. Okay, you see it over there. It's been saved as a template. I'm going to delete the operations that I have over here. I'm going to delete this one here. Okay, I may even do something like this, clean CAM parts, so we have absolutely no remnants of whatever was there before. I can take any one of these operations, not only drag him to the part, but I shall also drag him to the CAM tree. Okay? In that particular case, it'll work just like any other template. So whatever I have inside a template, let me just cancel for a moment. Okay? let's say if I have go inside this template and I go to my technology and I'll change that to G83 for pecking, okay? And I'll put in whatever information I want to have in there. Say I'm going to go down every, say, 3 millimeters, whatever. Okay, full retract. I'll resave that. I'm just going to save that and exit. So I can take now that template, drag it to my cam tree, define my geometry, save that for now. Okay, I can put my upper and lower levels in over here as well. If I want, I actually wouldn't want to do that. I'm not going to have that actually over there. Just says, okay. And you see I have my operation over here. It's all over here. Just calculate that. This works just like any other template. If I have my technology, if I have fixture protection in there, shortest distance, all that will be in there. So right now I can drag and drop templates to this area over here as well. Let me delete that for a second. Now you'll note I deleted that operation. We have the geometry over here. I can take the template, also drag it to the geometry, and it'll create the operation exactly what's inside that template together with that geometry. Okay, this is true not only for these type of templates, but all the templates I can drag them to the cam tree as well.
William had a question, and I'm waiting to hear just a little bit more detail from what he's getting at, but he's asking when is projected available? When using solid, when will, okay.
I think it's just availability of 2018 said.
What are you
the projected availability. Okay.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, we're, sorry, I was thinking he was thinking about projected geometry, but he's asking about when are you guys thinking that SolidCAM 2018 will be released?
Okay.
Or the projected date.
Well, actually, for the SP0, we're hoping we're ready within the next month. It will be available. But as far as when it's be available to customers, that you will have to be in touch with your local team.
Yep. So let us know, William, and we'll keep you posted on there because. Here in SolidCAM USA, we really like to go through and make sure everything is perfect for you guys more than anything. We don't want you guys to run into any hidden stuff and like that. So usually we're just a little bit behind everywhere else, but like I said, it's just the security, making sure everything is 100% perfect for you guys. So yeah, I would probably say, right around that summertime, like you're saying, William. So. But like I said, it all kind of depends on, Emil is the owner of the company and he is a machinist just like all the rest of us. And he likes to see new stuff added in there. And, he'll come up to Sydney and say, hey, got an idea. I want you to add this in there. And then that kind of pushes things back sometimes too. So would you agree, Sid?
Yeah, but that's happening less and less. We try not to do that as much. But
we try to
happens every now and then.
Yep. So George had a quick question. If you modify a template after it's already been used, does it update the existing operation that was already created?
No, it does not go. If you could, and that can be dangerous sometimes also. If that were to happen.
Yep. Yeah, and that's kind of going along based along the line. George, of let's say you change a tool diameter. That's why when you're in the operation and you're using that tool in two different operations, that you'll actually notice that that tool is grayed out. So you actually have to go into the tool itself and change the diameter or holder and stuff because that's being updated in multiple different operations. So All right. Now, one thing I want to mention to you guys too is this is just a few features that are getting added into 2018. If we're going to go through and show you guys everything that's added in here, Sydney would be here for another 4 hours. So like I said in the past is, this software is extremely based off of you guys and your guys' input. And a lot of these ideas are based off your guys' input. So definitely, this is just not, don't look at this as, this is the only thing we're adding in 2018. That's not the case at all. This is just some cool things that, Sid has pulled out and, kind of get that cool factor for you guys. But there's also a lot of stuff that has been changed around to make your guys' life a lot easier as programmers and machinists. So
that includes a lot of improvements in mill turn, a lot of improvements also in HSM, HSS 5-axis simultaneous machining. There are a lot of improvements in there, but I would need a couple of days to show you all of them. So.
Yeah. And I'm not any other questions, guys. We had a lot of great questions tonight, and hopefully got some excitement for you guys, and kind of going forward of kind of seeing what's coming towards you, and being able to kind of take a quick little glimpse and see what's coming your way with 2018. So yeah, it's we can't wait to release it to you guys. And Sydney, I can't thank you enough for waking up at 2 o'clock this morning and start the prep of it, and and 4 o'clock in the morning you're still with us here.
No problem, my pleasure, and don't worry, you'll pay for it later.
Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, I will be having to buy Sydney multiple dinners for this one, so maybe we should start a GoFundMe account so I can start paying for it. No, I'm kidding. But, guys, what's that?
I even put on a SolidCAM shirt for you.
Yep, you got to just don't put your SolidCAM hat on.
Okay.
No, guys, and I can't thank you guys enough for joining the night class. We had a great turnout. Tons of people showed up tonight for the night class, and like I've said before, we've been doing these night classes now. Steve, how long have we been doing these things? Almost 2 years now.
Well, I think it is, Kevin, for sure. Yep. Yeah.
So I am completely open up to you guys. I see a lot of new names in here, which is great. If you guys want to see something, shoot me an email. My email is in the chat for you guys that don't have it. Let me know what I can teach you guys, and look at this as free training for you guys. Free spot to come in here and pick my brain and pick Steve's brain, and heck, we even got Greg Payton, one of our top applications and engineers in here from California in here tonight. So let us know what we can do to help you guys out. And, our number one goal for you guys is getting that warm, fuzzy feeling that you guys made the right choice choosing SolidCAM, and that you guys will get the absolute best CAM support that you can possibly have from, the sales side of thing and the technical side of things. So let us know what we can do to help you guys out. And, got anything else, Steve?
Kev, I'll just chime in with one more thing. I've been involved with this software for 10 years. The company's not all about auto magic, but really what we're trying to do is make your life easier, put powerful tools in your hands, allow you to apply them to your particular situation and needs in the best way possible, and eliminate programming time. And I think, our best days are yet to come. Hopefully you saw some of the things we're working on to try to make your life easier.
Oh, one thing I was going to throw in there, Sid, can we mention anything that you and Ken Merritt are working on, or do we have to still keep that top secret?
That I would keep that under wraps at the moment. Still.
Okay. So like I said, guys, there's some great stuff coming forward. I'm really excited to, show you guys all the great stuff that's coming, and a lot of work is going into this stuff for you guys. So let me know, like I said, let me know what those ideas that you guys have. Let me know what we can do to help you out, and go from there. All right, guys. So as class lineup will continue, next week we'll be covering, and thank you, Brad, tonight for giving myself this great idea to show you guys a sneak peek into 2018. It was a great idea. Next week we are going to continue on with pocket recognition, then we'll get into feature recognition. And one of my favorite is the automatic feature recognition that's based off of the whole wizard in SolidWorks. And that one we're actually going to get Ken Merritt in on and show you guys how you guys can customize that per application for you guys. So a lot of cool stuff coming up, and thank you, Ronnie, for that great idea. I completely forgot that I missed the automatic feature recognition stuff, so we'll be covering that in the next week's going forward for you guys. So, all right, guys, we'll have a wonderful night, and like I said, thank you for sitting through. Looks like we're about an hour, 10 minutes in here, and on a Tuesday night, and said there's always something else you could be doing, and I know Sydney would definitely could be sleeping, but.
No, I think I'm going to just continue on now and go straight to the office.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful night. And if you guys would like to review this will be up on YouTube about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it should be up on YouTube for you guys. So, all right, guys. Have a wonderful night, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for the opportunity for having me present this to you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ed.
See you, everyone.